Hi, this is Gavin from Options Trading IQ, and in previous videos we've looked at the long strangle option strategy. We've looked at an introduction, gone through a bit of theory, and we've also talked about when to enter one of these trades. Today what we're going to look at is the how. So how do we actually go about entering a trade? How do we do that in our broker platform? And how do we analyze those trades? So here we have the Interactive Brokers Trader Workstation platform. Just opened up a new tab here. We're going to take a look at Russell, and we're going to take a look at entering a couple of long strangles. So first thing we're going to want to do is set up our strangles on here. So we can go combinations and options combos. And we're going to select Strangle. We'll do a couple of different ones, but we'll go out to January, and Russell is at 1160. So we'll go out just 50 points for one. So 1210, and on the put side we'll want 1110. So there we go, that's our strangle. We'll add that one. We'll also take a look at going further out. So staying within January, but going another 50 points out, so it would be 100 points away from the market. So 1260 and 1060, so that's it there. And we'll take a look at another one. Say let's go further out in time, let's go out to June, and we'll do the same, 1260 and 1060 and 1210 and 1110. Alright, there we go. So that's how we can add them onto our screen. You can see that Interactive Brokers adds the strangle trade and also the underlying options. So what I like to do is just separate these a little bit. Alright, so there you go. So here we can see the January. In fact, I usually like to keep the January ones together, so I'll move these ones up. Alright, so January 1060, 1260 trading at around $15. The 1110, 1210 trading at around 34. Then obviously going further out in time it's going to be more expensive, so we've got about 68 and about 101 for this one. So if we want to buy the strangle, we want to do a long strangle, we just click here on the ask, brings up the order, find roughly the midpoint, and then we'd hit transmit. Okay, so that gives us a little window that pops up, just confirming our order. So it shows us our options that we're buying, the cost of the trade, rough commission. So the trade's going to cost about $1,500. We've got a little performance profile that pops up on the left as well. Don't know if we can make that bigger or not. I guess we can do that. So that shows us roughly how the trade looks. Our break-evens here at around 1043 and 1275. And you can see down the bottom some analysis of how the position's going to look on with certain moves in the price. So 20% move, you're looking at a pretty big jump in profit. Obviously if it stays where it is, you're going to lose the full amount of the trade. Down 10%, you're going to be roughly even. So we need a bit more than a 10% move on the trade basically to make a profit. And then to put that order into the market, we would hit transmit. What I sometimes do is, rather than going exactly at the midpoint, maybe go to sort of 1450, maybe even a bit less, just to get the trade in there and just see what happens. Sometimes you'll get filled, sometimes you won't, and then over the course of the next 20 minutes or so, I'll just keep increasing that price till I get closer towards the midpoint, and then eventually I'll get filled. Sometimes you have to go a little bit above the midpoint to get filled, but that's basically how you enter a long strangle. The next thing I like to do is to analyze the trades. We had a little brief preview of the risk profile when we were entering the trade, but if we go to Analytical Tools and Risk Navigator, we'll open a what if portfolio. Alright. And we'll go and enter our trades that we were looking at. Okay, so there's one. And the other one we looked at was out in June. Okay, so there we go. So what we can do now is just look at these trades individually. So starting off with the January 1060, 1260. In the previous video we talked a lot about the Greeks, so this is a great place to come in and analyze your Greeks. You can see our delta is slightly negative, -8, Vega of 200 and Theta of -33. If we compare that to the one that's a bit closer in, so delta's a bit closer to 0, Vega's much higher, and Theta's a little bit higher as well because we're trading a bit closer to the money. Those prices look a bit off there. Yeah, something going on there, so I wouldn't pay too much attention to the prices there. I mostly just use this tab to analyze the Greeks, and if you go up to the top, I've done previous videos on this, but you can get rid of some of these metrics if you want. So P&L for the day, we don't really need that. There we go. Alright, so then looking at the June ones, the 100-point wide one, pretty much delta neutral, really high Vega, 1205, and Theta's 57, so not too bad. We're further out in time, so time decay in the early part of the trade's not affecting us too much. Then with the one closer in, delta again pretty much neutral, Vega a lot lower, and Theta a little bit lower as well. And you can also look at the risk profile in a bit more detail here. So this was a June trade, so we'll put in our June expiry. So that's how our trade looks. We can left click and sort of zoom in if we like. So break even around 13% on the downside and 13% on the upside. If you set the underlying to Russell, it will actually give you the index values rather than the percentages. Some people might prefer that to look at that. So about 13, 12 and 10, 12. Then another thing you can do is you can set in a custom date to see how the trade would look at a certain point in time. So this is a June trade, so let's go out to maybe February and say around the 10th, and then let's see how the trade looks. We'll zoom back out. Something doesn't quite look right there, but normally that would be would give you a better indication of how the trade would look a couple of weeks into it or a couple of months into the trade. But something looks a bit off with the pricing here at the moment. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember to head over to optionstradingiq.com for more great articles and videos.